Asiak of Peshtigo died after the vehicle she was driving failed to negotiate a curve on County Highway X. She lost control of the vehicle and crashed into the ditch on the opposite side of the road. She was not wearing a seatbelt and was ejected from the vehicle. Her death brings the total to 10 so far this year on Marinette County roads. Hundreds of road construction projects are now on the chopping block. It follows a Republican-controlled committee's decision to slash the money from the governor's proposed budget. Terry Barr has more on how potholes are being used to bring attention to the cuts.
The millions of dollars in road project cuts come after what Governor Tony Evers describes as years of investment to fix failing roads and bridges across the state.
During my time in office, we've secured some of the largest investment in our state's transportation system. And as funding grows, so does the number of projects. In fact, there are more than 300 state highway and bridge improvement projects scheduled across Wisconsin during this construction season.
And the governor is using his annual pothole patrol to highlight the need for transportation funding. You may see him filling potholes near you during the next week.
In fact, Governor Evers is in Oshkosh today filling potholes. The governor says his last budget included funding to make 8,000 miles of roads and 2,000 bridges safer across the state. I'm Lisa Hale, 97.9 WGBW News. For news anytime, log on to WGBW.FM.
It's the Brewers and the Red Sox. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. The Crew and the Red Sox in Milwaukee. Yesterday, the Brewers held on to beat Boston 3-2. Jackson Churio, a leadoff home run. Catcher Eric Haas knocking in an insurance run. Defensively, the Brewers looked better. Pat Murphy.
We're getting better. Our outfield defense, Collins made a great play. Ortiz made a diving catch on the line drive, but Collins in the outfield made that nice catch early. Churio's getting more and more comfortable in center. And, when we have Frelick out there, these close wins that we've had lately, that makes for a good outfield.
NFL. Last week we told you the Packers were still in contact with Jair Alexander, defensive backs coach Derek Ansley.
Every day we have contact every morning. I send him a positive quote. Sometimes it's a scripture.
Today, The Athletic reports the team is trying to get Jair to agree to a restructured deal. His agent says he wants to remain in Green Bay, but has not agreed to a pay cut. With Sports on Mike Clemens.
Local radio for you and your community. It's Civic Media's mission with stations across Wisconsin. Find your favorites at civicmedia.us.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. An isolated shower or two tonight with a mostly cloudy sky and a low in the low 50s. Better chance of showers and even a few thunderstorms tomorrow, high mid-60s. It dries out for the end of the week and the upcoming weekend as temps climb through the 70s. It's 69 degrees right now.
Imagine home. The smell of coffee, the sound of a lawnmower, the sun's warmth on your face. Free to be yourself, surrounded by love that helps you grow. This is a place to call home. That's an American dream we all deserve. But in 50% of U.S. states, you could legally be denied housing if you are LGBTQ+. Get the facts and hear real stories at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
Mino and the Mayor.
We go to a place and we actually reserved it already, but they got the swan. You know what I mean?
I don't know. What is a swan? What do you mean?
Well, it's hard plastic.
Todd's got a smirk on his face. Here's a comment.
Okay, so I've seen paddle boats, right?
Right.
Are you talking about one that's actually built like a swan?
Yeah. I want a picture of that. That'll be my Facebook page.
Mino and the Mayor, weekday mornings 6 till 9 on 97.9 WGBW and 98.3 and 96.5 WISS. Maggie Dawn.
Today at 4 on the Maggie Dawn Show, Law Forward breaks down fusion voting's impact on your ballot. Plus, Kids Forward exposes the real impact.
Broadcasting live from the Civic Media Studios in Green Bay, this is Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba, your inside source on everything entertainment from Wisconsin to Hollywood.
Whatever gets you through the night, it's all right. It's all right.
And now, a guy who considers a silver medal a participation award, Pete Schwaba.
Hey, welcome to Nite Lite, ladies and gentlemen. Let's do this. Let's kick off a new week on a Tuesday and act like it's a Wednesday. Monday can take a long walk off a short pier. We're skipping Monday altogether. Although we had fun. We had a nice episode last night with all the comedians.
Yes.
That was good stuff. But it is Tuesday night. Hope you had a great weekend. Great to have you here with me on Nightlight tonight. Conrad Krieger riding shotgun as usual. Hope everybody had a great and safe holiday weekend and ate too much and laughed a lot and got outside a little bit as it was a little bit warmer. Yesterday was nice, but a good weekend overall. I had we said goodbye to a family friend this weekend, so it was filled with family and great memories and fun and just a really, under the circumstances, a lovely, lovely time. And not more importantly, but not to be outdone. I've talked about my game soccer golf.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Got a whole new 9 holes.
Nice.
So we've got a full 18 now. We've got a water hole. We got a hole down by the bay, down by Green Bay, which is treacherous. You got to have a water hole, right?
You have to.
No matter what kind of golf it is. So we finally got that. I don't know why we didn't do that earlier. Anyway, it was a lot of fun. The whole family was home and said goodbye to a friend, played some soccer golf, went outside, and watched a very special movie I'm excited to talk about in just a few minutes. How was your weekend, buddy?
Yeah, it was good. I tried this. One of my buddies from my hometown came up and we went to Cocoon Brewery in De Pere.
Oh,
which was pretty good. It was cool. They had little like huts outside that you can like rent and like you can put on whatever you want on the TV.
Oh, nice.
And they have pizza there, some pretty good beer. And then after that, we kind of just went around town, but we went golfing then the next day. And my buddy's not that good of a golfer.
So it was fun for you.
Well, the last time we golfed was like 3 years ago when we were both on the same level. I'm still bad, but just a little bit better than him.
There is nothing funnier than watching a comedian on stage chewing it or a golfer who sucks and is having a terrible why I don't know what it is, but that just makes me laugh. And I'm okay. I laugh at when I used to be on stage, I used to laugh at myself too. And I'm like, you are really eating it up here. But golf, for some reason, it's a frustrating sport to begin with, but all the times I've golfed, it seemed like there's one, mostly it was me, but it seems like oftentimes there were people that just really wrecking the course. And I don't know why that cracks me up.
Well, it makes it worse when you get mad because then you just totally lose at that point.
Absolutely.
Once you let your mind take over, then you don't even have a good time. And it's just about being out there,
right,
and enjoying the weather.
Ideally, but it's the windmill hole always messes me up. I get so mad when I.
Do you have one at the soccer golf?
No, we should though.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
We should do that. Yeah, great weekend. It was a lot of fun, but it's great to be back here. It's nice I like to have some structure to my day. I don't do well with no structure. I tend to do less than more when I don't have structure, but there was so much going on in our little community. It was just fun to walk outside and see what was up and see what people were up to. So I got a lot of steps in too, which is good. So I hope all of you had a great day as well. And if you want the rules to soccer golf, folks, don't hesitate to reach out. It is a fine, competitive, leisurely game. The phone lines are open. Let us know how your weekend was. 855-752-4842, 855-75-CIVIC. If you're listening on the radio, folks, or the app or the stream, give us a like or a follow if you're so inclined. Always nice to be liked or followed. Actually, nobody likes to be followed by a police officer, a stalker, whatever. But on social media, it's just fine and it's encouraged. So there you go. Knock yourself out. We have a, let's see, what should we do here? Let's do the question of the night, Conrad. Let's bang this out so we can get this out there to the fine people who are listening to Nightlight on a Tuesday. Here's our question of the night.
Let's talk about the question.
Okay, question.
Question. Question.
Pregunta.
Question.
Question.
Okay, I have a question. Questions? This question.
Domanda. Question.
Question.
Questions.
Oh, here we go. What is your favorite movie, TV, or Broadway musical? There might be some crossover there, but let us know. What is your favorite movie, TV, or Broadway musical? That is tonight's question of the night here at Nightlight, 855-752-4842, 855-75-CIVIC. As I just mentioned, you can listen on the app, or you can watch the radio at X, YouTube, or Facebook. We'd love to have you any way you can be here. Just be here and be part of the fun. So that is our question of the night. I'm going to go. Have you had time to think about this? Do you have one?
I mean, kind of. I really like Shrek the Musical.
Is that a thing?
It is.
You're not making that up.
I wouldn't say it's Broadway, but
what does that mean? There's like a couple show numbers in it or something?
I saw it at like a local theater when I was younger.
Okay.
So does that count?
No, dude. I know you've seen an actual musical, not just
Well, come back to me.
You could think about it.
I was thinking about Shrek the whole day, so
I don't even know what to go with because my favorite Broadway musical, actual in a theater musical, is Les Mis. Hands down, far and away. Love every second of the show. I've seen it 4 times live. Just absolutely a beautiful piece of art. Les Mis, live. Didn't care for the movie as much, obviously, with Russell Crowe and Anne Hathaway, I think, was in it. She was good, but they can't hold a candle to the actual live stage show. It's an absolute spectacle. So that's my Broadway musical. I would have to say movies might be Grease or Little Shop of Horrors, maybe Fame. I'm struggling here because I think I have too many. I also like a recent musical that came out in the theaters called Sing Street. That is a great show. Contemporary music, fun group of kids in Ireland that formed this band. Great song called Drive It Like You Stole It. Highly recommend Sing Street. I've also talked about Once on this show. Another great movie musical. They might have turned that into a live show too. And then, of course, I even have a TV musical. I have been into the show Glee lately. Have we talked about this? You ever seen Glee?
I actually have never seen an episode.
It like the music is good. They do anywhere from show tunes to pop tunes, and everybody on the show is really talented when it comes to singing. But I have to say, the TV show, and I've only seen one season, and I've seen a couple episodes of other seasons, is really funny. Jane Lynch is the cheerleading coach who bullies the Glee Club and bullies the football coach and the principal. I mean, she's just so funny. Highly recommend Glee. I know it's old. Most of you have probably seen it if it's something you were going to watch. I'm behind. But I watched season 1 a couple of years ago. I've kind of been slowly looking at other episodes now that my daughter's home for the summer. We've been watching that. Really funny show. So there you go. I'm going to say Les Mis, Grease, and Glee are my Broadway movie and TV. But you don't have to give. You can just give one, folks. If you got something to share, go ahead and do it. We'll read your text on the radio. Always more fun when you guys participate. That is our Nightlight question of the night. All right. So I have to get this out of the way. I've been talking a lot about this movie for the last few weeks. And I was very excited that Mission Impossible finally opened, and it did not disappoint. It was really good. It was long. It was about 2 hours and 50 minutes. But I would say the first half hour almost was a recap of what had happened with the rabbit's foot and stuff from Ghost Protocol and the first one. Really good. Some people might not like that. I didn't mind it. I was anxious to get to the new material, and it wasn't like it was highlights, but they did work it in kind of cleverly, I thought. But I really liked it. And then the show took off. The movie took off after about 30 minutes into it. They ran the opening credits were like 30 minutes into the movie, but it was a fun sequence. They played the fun music. It was like just, and then it took off, and it just did not. There was a great scene. Tom Cruise, of course, is going to do his stunts. He had a great underwater scene. If those of you who saw Mission Impossible 7 remember the sub going down that was sunk by the entity or the AI. And he went down there because he had to get a hard drive to stop the entity from taking over the world. It was just great. And then there was a scene where he was on a plane, a little prop plane, flipping around, flying around, punching out the pilot while he's chasing Gabriel, the guy who is trying to get control of the entity. So lots of fun. It was great. And there was a death. I'm not going to say who it was. I'm not going to spoil it. But one of the cast members, if you go on social media, you probably already know. But it was just a lot of fun. Start to finish, great film. I'm not convinced it's the last one based on what I'm hearing, but it is crushing at the box office. And but it's not crushing nearly as much as Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah.
$183 million in the 4-day weekend. And Mission Impossible took in 77.5. Huge. I mean, for an action film like that, that's a huge haul too. The two of them crushed Barbenheimer, the two films together. And that's kind of a new strategy by Hollywood, putting out two films. You're not really getting the same audience, so it's probably not hurting anybody, but they're saying the box office could make $4.2 billion this summer. A total rebound from where it was at from before COVID. I would love to know what those numbers are, but it appears to be back. So that's exciting. You told me something about Lilo and Stitch or some backlash without getting too spoilery.
Yeah. Well,
what's the deal?
They just made some differences from the live action.
Well, this is the live action.
Yeah,
right?
that's what,
from the animated. Okay.
Yeah, and I was kind of confused on why they ended it like that, because the main thing at the end is like, it's a big decision.
Okay.
And in the live action, she does the opposite of that decision that she did in the animation.
Oh, really?
So I was like, I don't get why they would change that.
Yeah. I will see it. I wasn't going to rush out. It was finally a nice weekend. I was sort of conflicted even going to see a 3-hour movie on a gorgeous day, but I just had to check it out. We have a text from, when was that? Bud text. Here we go. Oh, this is from today. So he's listening to the comedian show. Okay.
At 4:30. Yep.
Right. So last night we put a best of episode together because I took the day off and I had all my interviews with friends of mine. Bill Leff, we put is Steve Cochran. All right. Anyway, we had Bill Leff, Mike Mercury. Who else do we have on that show, Conrad? Jimmy Pardo, who ripped on my shirt hilariously. It's worth a listen. But Bud listened to that show, and Bud is in the 608, and he drives around between 4 and 6 a.m. and listens to Nightlight, which I think is swell. He says, "Hey, Pete and Conrad, another outstanding show so far. Not showing up is the key, I believe." Oh, that's a dig. I'll take it, Bud. Anyway, I'm loving the interview with Bill Leff. I loved his show on WGN with Wendy. Is Steve Cochran going to be next? Love your show, Bud from Janesville. Steve Cochran and I are going back and forth, so he will be on soon, Bud. Bud also says, I'm not talented enough to listen to two programs simultaneously. What does that mean?
I think that was one of the discussions you guys had with one of the comedians.
Okay. Yeah, don't beat yourself up, Bud. You're a fine human being. And a wonderful listener. Thank you for the text. We will read your texts in regard to our question of the night when we come back. And I will tell you about our awesome guest tonight. We've got two Robs on the show. How do you like that, folks? It's Pete Schwaba and Nightlight on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Rating action at the 2025 Queen Marinette's Run the River Powerboat Races in Marinette, Wisconsin on June 7th and 8th. The action will be nonstop as these high-octane boats reach speeds of over 105 miles per hour. Races kick off on Saturday and Sunday at 12:30 p.m. and run throughout the day. Free for the whole family, this is the perfect summertime weekend getaway. For more information, head to fishonmarinette.com and click on the events page.
We believe your stories matter because here at WGBW, your stories are our stories too. Our award-winning news team of Lisa Hale, Brittany Merlot, and Terry Barr cover the issues that affect your life every day, the stories that shape your world. You'll hear it on the air, read it online, and see it on social media, wherever you are. Real news, great conversation, 97.9 WGBW, connected to you and your community.
What would your community be like without UW-Madison? The UW is one of the country's leading hubs for supporting life-changing research. UW-Madison helps make a healthier Wisconsin, build strong businesses, and win the war for workforce talent, not just in Madison, but across our entire state. Visit uwalumni.com/UW9 to tell your legislators to support UW-Madison in the Wisconsin state budget. That's uwalumni.com/UW9, paid for by the Wisconsin Alumni Association.
Insight Eye Care has been serving the Fox Valley for over 30 years and are proud sponsors of Mino and the Mayor's Eye on the Community. Insight offers comprehensive eye care, including glasses and contact lenses. Their doctors have a special interest in treating chronic eye disease, specialty contact lenses, and pediatric care. Find Insight on Sawyer Street in Oshkosh and Chain Drive in Appleton. Visit WIinsight.com to schedule your eye exam. Improving lives by improving sight. Insight Eye Care.
Out here in the middle of these acres, it can feel like you're the only person on earth. That's how it feels when you're struggling with your mental health. But you don't have to feel alone. Find more information at loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
Schwaba, this is Nightlight. It is great to have you with me on this Tuesday, which is really like a Monday, but feels more like a Wednesday because we have a short week. And hope you guys had a great weekend. Lots of summer fun coming up. Every weekend moving forward should feel like a long weekend because it's summer. So we've got a really fun show tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We do have some, I understand we have a volume issue. We are working on that. Conrad has his tools out. He is diligently working to try to restore whatever it is we're dealing with right now. So we will get that handled as soon as possible. Thank you for your patience. And we will read your texts when people can actually hear them. So great show tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We have two Robs on the same show. That's probably happened in radio history because Rob is a fairly popular name. But we've got two great guys on tonight, both named Rob, and neither one of them is Rob Thomas. How do you like that? So my first guest tonight at 6:35 will be Rob Paravonian. Rob is a comedian and musical artist. He is just hilarious. He's got a lot to report on. We'll play some of a couple of Rob's hilarious tunes. We played Rob's song about he wrote a Friends song parody years ago. And we played that last time he was on. And we replayed that a few weeks ago when we were doing a question of the night that involved everybody's favorite TV theme show song. So we played Rob's Friends song. Very funny. Rob's hilarious. He'll be here at 6:35 to make us laugh and maybe make us sing along. We'll see how it goes. And then at 7:20, driving all the way up from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I know you've heard of it, folks. Very exciting to welcome my friend Rob Martin, who will be here at 7:20. Rob was an actor in the film The Godfather of Green Bay. He has never been on this show. We found him in Milwaukee, and we cast him as the heavy in The Godfather of Green Bay, and he crushed it. And if you've seen the film and see how good Rob is, you'll probably go, why haven't I seen that guy in anything else? Well, he had a lot of other things going on. He teaches martial arts. I think he was a DJ for a while, and he's a very busy guy. And he also has a phenomenal singing voice, and he founded the band, the Docksiders, yacht rock band. But he also had an injury that took him out of that life for a while. He's fully healed now, as I understand it, and he will come on tonight to talk about movie gangsters. We'll talk about that with Rob Martin at 7:20. He will be in studio. He made the journey from Milwaukee just to see his old pal Petey here in the studio. So I can't wait to see Rob. That'll be fun. We have gotten some. How are we doing on the sound issue, Conrad? Are we still have some sound issues?
Yeah, just
okay. Did you bump something?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Should we play a clip and hold off on the text? I mean, if people, I don't want to make people sit through low volume. That would be really annoying.
Yeah, sure. We got a couple clips.
What do we have? We got Foxy. We're talking about movie gangsters tonight. Let's play one of my favorite movie gangsters is Foxy Brown, played by Pam Grier. She is fantastic. And this is a film from, I want to say 1974, where she goes in and she's asking for a neighborhood council's help or approval in getting even with people who brought harm to her brother, Pam Grier.
All right. We've talked about your request, and we're not sure whether we want to help you or not. We're a neighborhood committee, and this is sort of out of our neighborhood, you know what I mean?
Maybe the time has come to grow a bit, brother.
What is it you really want?
Justice.
For whom, your brother?
Why not? It could be your brother, too. Or your sister. Or your children. I want justice for all of them. And I want justice for all the other people whose lives are bought and sold so that a few big shots can climb up on their backs and laugh at the law and laugh at human decency. And most of all, I want justice for a good man. This man had love in his heart. And he died because he went out of his neighborhood to try to do what he thought was right.
Sister, I think what you're asking for is revenge.
You just take care of the justice, and I'll handle the revenge myself.
It was weird because I remember seeing that film like 30 years ago, and there was a little hiccup in Pam Grier's delivery on that last line, and they still used it. And I remember the first time I saw it thinking, oh man, they left some goof or they missed it. No, they didn't. That obviously was a conscious effort to leave that in there. Because sometimes people do that. They misspeak. But I don't know. I haven't seen the whole movie in quite a while. But Foxy Brown, one of my favorite gangsters. And then I've got some other favorites. The usual. We'll talk about all those with Rob Martin when he's here at 7:20. And Rob Martin is one of my favorite movie gangsters because he was so good. He played a retainer-wearing hitman in my film, The Godfather of Green Bay. And it just was great in it. So Rob will be here at in studio at 7:20. Hopefully, we will have these issues worked out by then, folks. Hang with us, and we will read your texts when you can hear them. I don't want to let anybody's great material go to waste here, so we will read all of that coming up soon. Our question of the night, in case you want to get something in, and I will read it when we can hear, is what is your favorite movie, TV, or Broadway musical? Mine, Les Mis is my favorite Broadway musical. Grease is my favorite movie musical. And I'm going to go Glee for TV musical. And mostly because I think it's really funny. The writing is very funny. Music's good. Writing's great. So, all right. Coming up at 6:35, right after the news, my pal Rob Paravonian will be here on the stream. We'll talk to Rob about some new material he's putting out and maybe give you a listen to some of his songs. He's very funny and a great comedian. And then Rob Martin, Rob number 2. There's 2 Robs on the same show, folks. This is pandemonium. And I can't wait to talk to both of them. This is Pete Schwaba and Nightlight on the Civic Media Radio Network.
And she can't do a thing to me. I just wanna dance the night away with
You're listening to the Talk of Green Bay, WGBW, home for the Maggie Dawn Show.
Your news, conversations, and a whole lot of fun. It's all on your local Civic Media radio station or the Civic Media app.
For 97.9 WGBW News, I'm Lisa Hale. Following another mild winter in Wisconsin, an environmental group says nearly every city that they've studied has seen increasing average summer temperatures over the last 50 years. According to a WPR report, Climate Control recently released an analysis of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration since 1970, which showed an average temperature increase of over 2.5 degrees Fahrenheit in the summers. Milwaukee was among the cities that the group studied and has seen an average summer temperature increase of nearly 3.5 degrees. Home sales in Wisconsin are down. Here's Joanne Krulatz.
The Wisconsin Realtors Association released its April report revealing home sales experienced a significant downturn for the second consecutive month, falling 10.4% compared to April 2024, even as the median price climbed during the same period. Despite this monthly decline, year-to-date sales were down by a more moderate 3.5% compared to the first 4 months of 2024, buoyed by strong sales in January and February. Statewide, housing inventory saw a slight improvement, increasing 5.9% to a 3.6-month supply in April, yet this figure remains considerably below the 6-month supply indicative of a balanced market, which would necessitate a 67% increase in current listings. Inventory levels varied across the state, remaining static in larger metropolitan counties, with improvements in micropolitan counties and rising to a 5-month supply in rural counties.
I'm Lisa Hale, 97.9 WGBW News. For news anytime, log on to WGBW.FM.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. There were recent rumors about John Krasinski's nose job, which the actor denied. Krasinski did, however, confirm one rumor, and that is that if The Office has a spinoff, he is in for a cameo appearance. Krasinski played Jim Halpert for all 9 seasons of the hit NBC show. FYI, plastic surgeons have dismissed the idea that Krasinski changed his nose and suggested it looks smaller due to lighting, aging, or weight fluctuations. Sure. In a related story, Rainn Wilson, who played Dwight on the show, openly admitted to having his forehead reduced. Finding your groove after divorce has to be difficult. For Jessica Simpson, she tried to get it back last week on American Idol, singing for the first time on TV in about 15 years, and it did not go well. And now says she's not opposed to getting back into acting. Not sure if she could top her performance as Daisy Duke. It's nice to have choices, though. Do I revive my career as a mediocre singer or a mediocre actor? For more showbiz fun, tune into Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
You can always continue the conversation on social media. Share your thoughts when you find and follow Civic Media on Facebook, X, and Instagram.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. An isolated shower or two tonight with a mostly cloudy sky and a low in the low 50s. Better chance of showers and even a few thunderstorms tomorrow, high mid 60s. It dries out for the end of the week and the upcoming weekend as temps climb through the 70s. It's 69 degrees right now.
The Maggie Dawn Show.
Richard Trent, the executive director of Main Street Alliance.
This current tax code that they're trying to extend, 80+% of the benefit goes to the top 1% of earners.
Yes.
I did not misspeak there. This is not a game. Trump will tell you firsthand that he grew up believing there are winners and there are losers. This is an administration actively trying to create a class of losers, and we have to fight back.
The Maggie Dawn Show. Weekday afternoons, 4 until 6 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the app.
Carmelo Anthony for the Bail Project.
Bad news, you've been arrested. Good news, you're innocent until proven guilty. If you can pay your bail, good news, you go home to wait your trial. If you can't, sorry, you go to jail to wait. But sure, you still presumed innocent. But since you can't afford bail, you've lost your freedom. That's not right. And that's why the Bail Project helps those who can't afford it while fighting to end cash bail. Because freedom should be free.
Brought to you by the Ad Council.
John Mino and Jim Schmidt.
On Wednesday's show, we'll welcome Annie Zalewski from the Dino Pitchka Memorial Softball Tournament. She'll tell us all about
sound issue, but it's like I'm very loud inside my own head, and that's really irritating. But you know what I do, Conrad? I just turn the volume down. It's that simple.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you took a powder there. I was like wondering. I know your work. Conrad's got the tools out, folks. We're trying to figure this out. But thanks for sticking with us. Rob Martin will be here at 7:20. He was one of the stars of The Godfather of Green Bay that we found in Milwaukee, and I'm very excited to talk to Rob. And we've got another Rob. I'm not saying we're making total radio history, but there's a chance that this hasn't been done before. 2 Robs on the same show. What do you think, Conrad?
I think there's a very little chance that this has happened before.
Well, you need a serious attitude adjustment. I'm just saying right now. All right, folks, our question of the night, we will get to the text. Hopefully, when we get the sound issue figured out, we'll read your text then. But what is your favorite movie, TV, or Broadway musical? Let me know your answer. We will read your text on the radio. Right now, it is my pleasure to bring to the show, back to Nightlight. He's been here before, but we've been anxious to get him back on the show. Comedian Rob Paravonian. Rob, how are you?
I'm good. How's the volume? I'm good. Good to see you.
Your volume is great. And I hope People can hear us. I think it's just a little low, so we're getting that figured out. But let's pretend I never even said that, Rob. You just be you.
Excellent. I'll try my best.
And it's funny because I reached out to you earlier and I said, hey, what are some of your credits I can put in your intro? And then I didn't even use them. So I'll take this time right now to say you've heard Rob on Dr. Demento or Comedy Central, or maybe you saw him opening for George Carlin. I can't wait to talk about that, Rob.
Yeah, that was cool.
That is a good one. So how you been, buddy?
I've actually been out of the game for like 6 months. I had some
what?
Well, I haven't been performing. Sad news, my mom passed away in December, so I've been like back and forth out of state taking care of the house, which is a whole thing, but I'm good otherwise. And so like I'm just starting to work on my next album. So I'm right. You've caught me right when I feel like I'm getting my feet back in the water, you know?
Oh, that's fantastic. Good timing for once on my part. Where did you grow up again, Rob? Was it Oregon?
No, I grew
just
up
in Illinois. Waukegan,
Illinois. Yeah.
Yes.
So just about 10 miles south of Kenosha in the Wisconsin-Illinois border. So very close to Wisconsin. In fact, I know we're on the radio, so my visuals aren't going to go over, but you can see it here in the studio. I have this bottle of Ting soda.
Oh, wow.
It's from not too far from Green Bay, right? These were made in Waukegan, Wisconsin. And I got that. I did a lot of college gigs throughout Wisconsin back when I was touring a lot. I did every UW extension there is. And where I grew up in Waukegan, we had these. This is Glen Rock Pop. There was a local Waukegan-based soda company, or as we called it, Pop.
Hey, Rob, I'm sorry to do this to you. But I don't want you to say something that people can't hear. Can we move you to the phone just because of our issues tonight? Would that be okay?
Sure.
Post your number, please, in the chat. Would that be all right, Conrad? Is he safe if he does that? Okay, then we'll give you a call.
Yep, where it says 3 people, right in there.
Okay, perfect. And we'll give Rob a call because I would hate for. So, okay, perfect. All right, we're gonna get Rob back on the phone. I didn't want him to tell a funny story without you guys actually being able to hear it. So we'll get that figured out. And that's weird. I'm glad Rob Martin drove up. He's going to be in studio, so that's going to be good. But we'll get this figured out. Conrad's giving Rob a call as we speak, ladies and gentlemen. The very funny Rob Paravonian. I met Rob at the Improv in Chicago years ago when we were both stand-ups, and he has since gone on to do great things. He has had his own comedy special. He's been on Comedy Central, Dr. Demento, and as I mentioned, he's open for George Carlin. So we will get to all of that as soon as we get Rob back. In the meantime, if you haven't seen Mission Impossible, it's a recommend, folks. I highly recommend it. And definitely check it out. If you have kids, Lilo and Stitch, they're both reviewing incredibly well. So we've got that going for us. Lilo and Stitch is getting it's getting a 70, but a 93% audience. Mission Impossible is getting an 80 and 89% audience. My guess with the audience, I feel like it should be 100%, but I think that long intro before the credits where they kind of recap everything, maybe everyone's not too keen on that, especially if you're a huge fan and you already know all the stories. But I personally liked it because sometimes with these franchises, whether it's like Star Wars or Mission Impossible or Fast and the Furious, everything kind of blends together. And I can't remember who did what or what character was in what movie. So I actually like the recap. All right, we're going to read some texts anyway, just because I don't want to run out of time or something. So, Conrad, keep me posted. Lisa Hale, in regard to our question, what is your favorite movie, musical, TV musical, or Broadway musical? Lisa says Rent or Hamilton, depending on my mood. TV musical, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, season 6, episode 7, Once More with Feeling. Wow, that is specific. Appreciate that, Lisa. She says Broadway musical 6. Yes, I'm that extra. I don't even know what that is. I love when texters have more knowledge than I do because it's fun to learn stuff yourself too. That's a great text. Thank you. Oh, my buddy Dave Hendrick checking in says the Blues Brothers. Yes. Kind of forgot about that one. That would have been on my list too. Thank you, Dave. Mike on the stream or on social media, I'm sorry, says Fiddler on the Roof. What does it mean, this fiddler on the roof who fiddles every night and fiddles every noon? Great one, Mike. Keep those texts coming, folks. Those are our social media texts. We'll get to the stream text and the phone text shortly. I understand we have Rob Paravonian back. Rob, thank you for sticking with us, buddy.
Hey, what's happening? How is this? Is it working?
It sounds great. It sounds fantastic.
Oh, wonderful.
And now everybody listening has your phone number. All right. So,
oh no,
kidding. Rob, folks, leave Rob alone. He's a celebrity in, what is it, Central America, Rob? You can't even go to the bathroom there without being found. So.
You know, a couple of those countries in there.
So, all right. So tell us, you had a big video special release about a year ago. How is that doing?
Yeah.
And are you happy with it? Tell us about it.
I'm very happy with it. I, of course, would love more views, all the views, but I'm really happy with the way it turned out. It was based on a solo show I did that was full of comedy songs that were inspired by U.S. history and U.S. culture. So it was a little bit, it was very much like Schoolhouse Rock meets The Daily Show. And so instead of doing like a live comedy special, I did like music videos and then sort of Daily Show type stand-up segments with over-the-shoulder graphics, you know, sort of like, you know, Daily Show this week tonight kind of thing. And I'm really happy with the way it turned out. And so it's starting to, you know, people have found it. I think more people will find it as like the different subjects become more popular. There's stuff about the satanic panic in the 80s. There was stuff about the invisible hand of the marketplace for economics people. It was a little bit nerdy, but, you know, very much me.
That's awesome. Where can people see it? If they want to go watch it, where would they check it out?
It's on YouTube. The easiest way to find it is just my website, robprocks.com, robprocks.com, all one word, because my last name is Paravonian, so I don't want to make anybody spell that.
Do you say it Paravonian? So, yeah. I've been saying Paravonian for years.
I said both for a long time, and I finally just settled on one, because sometimes people would get mad at me for not caring which way it was pronounced, but it was because my dad said both growing up. He was born here. He was first generation. His parents came over from Armenia. So, and I caught him once, and I asked him, I'm like, whenever you talk to Armenian people on the phone, you say Paravonian. Whenever you talk to like Americans or the rest of the Americans, you say Paravonian. And he's like, you know, I never noticed that. And I think it was just like an assimilation thing that he did. So I just decided I would try for the closest one to the, you know, official pronunciation, but I grew up saying both myself. So
okay, I like Paravonian. That sounds like a little more. As a guy who has nothing exotic about him, Rob, I've got fair skin. Schwaba is my last name. There is nothing sexy about me. You've got Paravonian. That sounds really cool, actually. I'm serious.
Like, you know, well, in the 90s, when I was starting in comedy, I was on the fence about whether or not I was going to use a stage name or not, just because, you know, but I'm glad if I was in my dad's generation of like the 1950s, I definitely would have had to come up with a stage name. And I did pick out my 1950s stage name would have been Bobby Verona. I would have been a star. I would have been playing Vegas every weekend.
Bobby Verona. I love that.
Come on. That's a guy who plays like the Sands Casino for like 6 months. Right?
That's a guy who brings it. And you could easily pass for Italian, I think.
Right. I'm ambiguously ethnic.
That's a good place to be. Well, let's talk about you sent me a couple songs. Can you tell us about them, and then we'll play them. I'd love for people to hear them.
Okay, yeah. There's one called "Driving with Grandpa" that was on my most recent live album. That's gotten played on XM radio a bit, and that's a really fun one to do live. That's very family friendly, inspired by my stepdad, but I decided to make it a little more accessible. But it's a Beach Boys style song about driving, and I sort of explain it in the setup in the clip of why I chose that genre. But you know, when I was growing up, I always loved the oldie station, so it's a very much a true to life. You know, it's a style of song I was excited to write.
That's awesome. All right, Conrad, what should or tell us about Baby in a Bar? What kind of time are we looking at here, Conrad? Do we have
we got about 3 minutes now.
So can we fit one of these in, or should we wait till after the break?
We should wait till after.
Okay, perfect. So tell us about Baby in a Bar, Rob.
Okay, well I live here in Brooklyn, and I live in a neighborhood that the professional parents have moved to. It used to be you got married, you had kids, and you moved out to the suburbs. Those were the rules, you know. But now lately, everyone's moved to my neighborhood. So my neighborhood's got very much sort of just professional, like used to call them yuppie parents. And the bars in the neighborhood, they often just come in with the the baby with them and it became such a thing that I had to write a song about it. And I think it connects. I know people West Coast and Chicago and Milwaukee have responded to it too. So I think it's something that it's not unique to New York.
So you're getting squeezed out, or you got to find a way. You got to adopt a kid or something to feel at home in your own neighborhood.
I think so. Yeah. Just I got to adopt a kid and get a big, minivan or crossover. Everyone's driving crossovers.
Right. All right, we will play Rob's song. We'll get to both of them, but after the break, we'll play. Maybe we'll start with "Driving with Grandpa" because I'm a huge Beach Boys fan. But so Rob, you're a straight. I think I've seen you perform without your guitar. You're a very funny stand-up comedian. You're also a very talented musician. When you were growing up, who are your influences? Like, did you have musical act influences, or was it mostly primarily stand-ups?
I definitely. Well, I liked the variety performers. Like the '70s, there were all those like variety shows. Like Sonny and Cher, and I love Carol Burnett. So like comedy wise, and then Steve Martin came at a time when I was just starting to like love absurd type comedy, and the fact that he played banjo and did some music and had his big hit with King Tut, and then I was a huge fan of his. And then around 12 years old, I found the Dr. Demento show where it was just Weird Al and all the comedy music and weird novelty music. So those were big influences on me coming up.
So
I always liked mixing the two.
Is it and what about? Well, actually, we'll get to this after the break, too. All right, we're going to do a very short break. We're going to come back and let you hear some of Rob's hilarious songs. It's great to have him here. Rob Paravonian is my guest tonight on Night Light. It's his second time here, and hopefully there will be many more if I don't rub Rob the wrong way. That didn't sound right either. All right, we're coming right back, folks. This is Night Light with Pete Schwaba. More with Rob Paravonian coming up next.
Little baby, you pick up little dynamite, I'm gonna pick up little gun. Well, we're running out tonight, make that highway run. You don't have to call me lieutenant, I don't wanna be your son. The only lover I'm ever gonna need is some sweet little girl's tongue.
Come work with us. Civic Media has a number of great jobs across the state. Open now at civicmedia.us/careers.
Feeling better is about feeling all kinds of things. You want to feel healthy, sure, but you also want to feel heard and understood, valued, even, loved. That's what we want too. We're Amplify Health, and we think the best way to care for someone is to care about them. That's why all our treatments include a little empathy. Welcome to healthcare that's all about caring. Welcome to Amplify Health by Bellin. A little empathy changes everything.
Mark your calendars for heart-pumping, exhilarating action at the 2025 Queen Marinette's Run the River Powerboat Races in Marinette, Wisconsin on June 7th and 8th. The action will be nonstop as these high-octane boats reach speeds of over 105 miles per hour. Races kick off on Saturday and Sunday at 12:30 p.m. and run throughout the day. Free for the whole family, this is the perfect summertime weekend getaway. For more information, head to fishonmarinette.com and click on the events page.
Did you hear the news? There's a new business opening in the Broadway district. Hey, it's Amanda with another new Wisco 411 for you, brought to you by Area 509 in Appleton. And Friday, May 30th at 10 a.m., you can join in the celebration of welcoming Crepe Bistro and Cafe to the Broadway district in downtown Green Bay. Coffee will be provided, and they encourage you to stay and have an early lunch after the ceremony. Don't forget to mark it in your calendar. Check out more details. Head to wgbw.fm. Click events.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Wisconsin. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the WIAA and the Wisconsin Athletic Directors Association.
Destination marketing organizations are working to ensure Wisconsin tourism is stronger than ever. Their work boosts Wisconsin's economy, supports jobs, and improves our residents' quality of life. Sponsored by Destinations Wisconsin.
Everyone has a fave Wendy's Frosty flavor. And when you're choosing from chocolate or vanilla, it's not that hard. But now, there's all new Frosty Swirls and Frosty Fusions. So try picking your fave from Oreo Brownie Fusion, Pop-Tarts Strawberry Fusion, Strawberry Swirl, Brownie Batter Swirl, Caramel Swirl, and Caramel Crunch Fusion. Not so easy now, huh? For a fresh way to Frosty, gotta be Wendy's.
At participating U.S. Wendy's, Oreo is a trademark of Mondelez International Group. Pop-Tarts is a trademark of Kellogg North America Co., LLC, used with permission.
Mommy, how come I can't sit in the front seat?
Because I love you and you're just not ready yet.
Putting your kids in the right seat for their age and size is an act of love. Check that your kids are in the right seat at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Love protects. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Great to have you with me on this Tuesday night, post-weekend, kind of like a Monday, feels like a Wednesday. It's a day without a home, folks, so we got to live it up here and light it up. So I'm glad you're with me tonight. Thank you, texters, for letting us know about the sound issues we had. Much appreciated, and apologies for that, but stick with us. We'll get this figured out. Rob Martin will be here at 7:20. Rob was in the movie The Godfather of Green Bay that I made many, many years ago, and we found him in Milwaukee, and he was fantastic. And I want to say Rob was one of the first practitioners of yacht rock here in Wisconsin. That is a whole other story, but he had a very popular band, and we'll talk to Rob about that too at 7:20. Right now, we are having a blast with my other pal Rob, who joins us over the stream and the phone. He is sticking with us tonight as well. Rob Parvonian is here on Nightlight for the second time. Rob,
yeah,
everything
the leadoff Rob.
Yeah, the leadoff Rob. And that's a great place to be. I mean, I know it was just a matter of time. Hey, let me ask you this. You're in New York. You grew up in Waukegan. I met you in Chicago. You were working clubs. Was it a good move to New York? That's where not every stand-up goes, but that is like the mecca of stand-up comedy. How is that? Do you like living there as a comedian?
I do, yeah. I moved here. If you remember this, there was a summer in Chicago when both the Improv and the Funny Firm closed the same summer. I think that was 95.
Oh, yeah.
And so I figured it was, I was starting to do the road, starting to do colleges. Yeah, so people were moving to either New York or LA. And I had gone to college in LA. And I was only like 3 or 4 years out of college at that point. And so I didn't want to go right back to LA. I wanted to try New York for a year or two. And so now I've been here, going on 30 years. So for me, It was the right move. I really enjoyed the performance scene that I got into here. There was a lot of cool sort of new vaudeville type stuff. They started calling it alternative comedy, but there were shows where there'd be like sketch and characters and monologues and stand-ups and music. And so my music fit in really well in that scene. That. So for me, yeah, it really was a good move. And then I just like the city vibe. I like living in Chicago. I like the bigger cities, and having gone to college in LA, it's a nice place. It just wasn't quite my vibe. I like getting around on the trains or the buses. I like riding my bike around town, that kind of stuff. So for me, even though I'm not as active in the comedy scene here in the city as much, it's still home now. It was the right move. Yeah.
Yeah. 30 years, man. That's great. Do you have to go into Manhattan for most of your local shows, or are there spots in Brooklyn? I know Brooklyn is like the new Manhattan almost. It seems like,
Yeah. Not like when I first moved here, it was definitely going into Manhattan for most of my shows. But yeah, the last 15 years or so, there's so many more performance venues in Brooklyn, like specific dedicated comedy rooms, improv rooms, and then a lot of bars that have like a music room in the back that'll do like a once a week comedy show, a lot of that going around. So, I don't have to go into Manhattan nearly as much as I did those first several years.
That's awesome. All right. So Rob is here. Let's hear, maybe we'll do Baby. Is that the shorter of the two songs, Conrad? Baby, no.
Driving with Grandpa.
All right, let's do Driving with...
Yeah, the Beach Boys style one is the
Love
shorter
this one.
Yeah.
All right, this is Rob Parvonian is my guest. He is a New York-based stand-up comic, and here is one of his songs. I know you're going to love it, Driving with Grandpa.
When I was a kid, I really liked oldies. I loved, 50s and 60s music. When I was 8, 9, 10 years old, I loved the Beach Boys.
But the Beach Boys songs are all about California and surfing and driving and girls. I grew up in the Midwest. I grew up in Illinois. I was 10 years old. I didn't know anything about California or surfing or cars or girls. So I wanted to try to write a Beach Boys type song about something I might have been able to relate to when I was 10 years old. So here's what I came up with. Grandpa hasn't gotten new glasses in years. Wop, wop, wahoo, wop, wop. Now driving with him is one of my greatest fears. Wop, wop, wahoo. He's yelling at the other drivers like he's insane. I'm in the backseat praying and praying, cause I'm the only one who knows we're in the wrong lane. Driving with Grandpa gives me heart palpitations. Driving with Grandpa, it's all moving violations. Driving with Grandpa, I wanna make it home tonight. A ride with Grandpa always fills me with stress. Wop, wop, wahoo. Cause he stops traffic to yell at the GPS. Wop, wop, wahoo. The right directions it won't show. We asked 3 people, nobody knows, cause the place we're going closed 8 years ago. Riding with Grandpa, woo, riding with Grandpa, woo, riding with Grandpa. Pull over, pull over. Thank you, officer. I'm blinking Morse code to you so you can rescue me. Glad you like that.
That's hilarious. I like you do your own do wop wop do. That to me is like
you gotta cover a lot of different parts when you're a solo performer.
In terms of audiences, America is very polarized right now, Rob. Are we comedically polarized? Like, are there parts of the country or certain clubs you don't want to work because you don't want to dig yourself out of a hole or start from below zero or whatever?
I feel like a little bit. I think it's mostly like I try to, when I'm in a place where I know there's going to be people on all sides of the political spectrum, I try to choose my material, choose the material that I would maybe like do on a cruise ship that's more accessible to everybody, more neutral. The thing that's tricky, I think that gets more and more tricky every year is like, I think fewer things feel neutral, like some subjects can set somebody off. Like I think years ago I had a bit about the Super Bowl, and I think it was maybe around 2020 when, kneeling in sports was a big controversial thing. So I thought I was going to be able to talk about football, and that was something everyone could relate to. But that year it happened to be something that, made half the crowd angry, So I do feel it's a lot trickier just for people to go and have a good time. But it's not as bad as it. I don't know. I feel it's not as bad as I fear that it is, but it's harder than it was.
Yeah. All right. Rob Parvonian's here, folks. We're going to break for intermission here and do a little bit of news, keep you informed, and we'll be back. And we're going to hear his song, Baby in a Bar, and talk about other stuff too. It'll be fun. Pete Schwaba, Nightlight, Civic Media Radio Network.
Shiny, happy people holding. Shiny, happy people.
9 WGBW Denmark, Green Bay's real news and great conversation, a Civic Media radio station.
ABC News, I'm Dave Packer. An urgent search for a former police chief known as the Devil of the
Melissa Kay reports. Average gas prices in Wisconsin rose slightly over the last week, landing at an average of $3.02 today. This is 4.4 cents higher than a month ago and over 38 cents per gallon lower than this time last year. Gas prices across the state range from $2.59 to $3.49 per gallon, a difference of 90 cents. Prices didn't fall as far as anticipated for Memorial Day, but officials at Gas Buddy say it was still one of the most affordable since 2021. They expect to see a relatively stable stretch for gas prices as we head into summer. Refinery maintenance is wrapping up, but several factors could still affect prices, such as the growing uncertainty around the upcoming hurricane season.
It took 10 days, but many Cellcom customers are finally seeing a return of voice and text services following what the company is calling a cyber incident. The outage started Wednesday, May 14th. On Sunday, Cellcom announced that customers were starting to see a return to service, although the restoration would not be all at once and some disruptions could still occur. Hundreds of Cellcom customers commented on that post that restoration was temporary and the disruptions continue. Cellcom provides cell phone, internet, and business communications to Northeast Wisconsin, Central Wisconsin, and parts of the Upper Peninsula.
Test.
Open car doors on Oak Street south of East Cecil Street between 1 and 4 a.m. Monday. Residents with information about the thefts are asked to call Officer Burrows at Neenah PD. I'm Lisa Hale, 97.9 WGBW News.
The Brewers host the Red Sox. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with Sports Baseball. Game 2 of the 3-game series tonight at AmFam Field between the Brewers and the Boston Red Sox. Jackson Churio got things started early yesterday for the Crew. First pitch in the bottom of the first. FanDuel, Wisconsin.
Swing and a drive. Deep left center. And welcome to Memorial Day.
The Brewers went on to win 3-2. Did Churio's leadoff homer set the tone? Pat Murphy.
Yeah, I think it did. I think it always sets a tone when you come out ready, and the first hitter that you have kind of makes a statement.
Closer Trevor McGill got out of a jam in the ninth to get the save in front of a sellout crowd of over 40,000 fans. Did that help?
Oh yeah, I mean this stadium gets rocking when there's a bunch of people in it, and definitely felt that. So I mean I thoroughly enjoyed pitching here in Milwaukee, and thank you for the fans for coming out.
That's Brewers pitcher Trevor McGill with Sports. I'm Mike Clemens.
This is your local civic media radio station. Want to hear even more? Anytime? Find all of it at civicmedia.us.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michael.
Just say a couple of words.
Testing 1, 2. We've uploaded 2025 527 Nightlight with Pete Schwaba, hour 1, but draft is still pending, so that's exciting.
All right,
better.
I think it's good.
You think we're back?
I think we're good.
All right.
It changes to SNAP benefits. We'll wrap it all up with This Shouldn't Be a Thing. I hope you can join us.
Matt and Air on Air, weekday mornings 9 to 11.
Child abuse is not a bad parent problem.
And the causes may be different than you think.
You see, paid family leave
That prevents child abuse. And high quality, affordable child care
prevents child abuse too.
Prevent Child Abuse America promotes programs and resources informed by science that help communities, parents, and kids thrive.
Because when we keep families out of crisis,
we prevent child abuse
from ever happening.
Go to preventchildabuse.org to learn more.
Let's solve child abuse before it ever happens.
Matt and Air on Air.
The Joint Finance Committee just had 4 meetings around the state of Wisconsin. The top 3 things of concern to people were education, healthcare, and childcare. The Republicans stripped all of those things out of Governor Evers' budget. So I'm thinking about going next time just to make sure that they all put their phones down when I'm talking to them, because I have a feeling they're all playing Candy Crush because they're not paying attention to what people are saying.
Catch Matt and Air on Air at its new time, weekday morning. Broadcasting live from the Civic Media Studios in Green Bay, this is Nightlight with Pete Schwaba, your inside source on everything entertainment from Wisconsin to Hollywood. And now, a guy who likes to talk trash, but only when he's at the dump. Pete Schwaba.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are about to start Act 2. Great to have you with me on this Tuesday night while we come together and talk about the joys of life. Movies, TV, music, comedy. We've got it all, and that's what we do here to help us wind down our days after talking politics, being chewed up by bosses, or being stuck in traffic. Even here in Green Bay, Conrad, you can have traffic. It's funny, in Marinette, where I live, it's this tiny town. If you try to turn onto a road after the factories let out at 3 o'clock, you're screwed. You might as well be on the Kennedy Expressway in Chicago. So whatever brings you here, welcome, folks. We had a great talk with Rob Parvonian, heard one of his songs. We had technical issues. I understand they are behind us now. So thank you, texters, for letting us know that. That was kind of our first hour. In a nutshell, our question of the night is, what is your favorite Broadway TV or movie musical? Let us know on the text line. We will get to your texts shortly. Right now, we have a few more minutes with my pal, Rob Parvonian, who we just heard his song, Driving with Grandpa, and we have a Baby in a Bar on tap. Rob, I just want to ask you, what was the inspiration for Baby in a Bar like to pick up girls?
No.
Okay.
No, it was just my fascination with how many babies kept showing up at my local bars.
Okay. Before we get to that song, I have to ask you, you told me earlier you got the opportunity to open up for George Carlin on his final tour. That is so unbelievable. How did you get that gig, and what was it like?
The gig came about through his managers. I think his manager's granddaughter was college age, and it was right around the time my Pocket Bell rant was becoming really popular. So she had seen this video of mine on YouTube that was, just started went viral, and she passed it up along to her dad and her grandfather. And Carlin's longtime opening act was a guitar comic. His name's Dennis Blair, and that's the guy who opened for him for decades. And so they thought I'd be a good fit for the shows that he couldn't make. So it just sort of came out about that way. Just really good luck that, someone in their group saw a video and thought I'd be a good fit. And then I started a few dates for him in the fall of 2007 when he was just starting to work on his material for what would be his last special. It was called It's Bad For You. And so I got to see him do that material when it was new, kind of work on it. And then I did some shows with him the following spring into May of 2008 when he had shot his special and the material was polished. So I got to see him develop an hour I did about 12 shows with him. So it was fascinating to see a legendary comedian sort of work on a new hour.
That is unbelievable. What?
Yeah, it was cool.
Did you get
randoms? I did random spots with him. So Erie, Pennsylvania, Minneapolis, Salt Lake City. They were all just scattered gigs that their other guy couldn't make. So I was all over the place.
Wow. So did you get to meet him?
Yeah. I met him the first show I did with him. I met him backstage and had a little chat, and it was great because his manager had showed him the Pocket Bell rant, the video that was becoming really popular. And so he's like, yeah, I saw that Pocket Bell thing that you did. That's pretty good. Pretty good is anyone else saying you're pretty good is well, that's lukewarm. But from Carlin, to me, that was my best review ever.
That's there are legends, and then there is a legend like George Carlin. I mean, maybe the greatest stand-up ever. And I remember not walking across the street to meet him once thinking, well, I'll have other opportunities. And of course, I never did. Here it is. You got to meet him and not only open for him, but hang out with him a little bit. And I think that's really cool.
Yeah, it was a huge thrill. Still one of the biggest thrills of my career.
How was the crowd? Amazing.
The crowds were great. Yeah, they were, he played theaters, some, 1,200, 1,500 seat theaters. We played this theater in Boston called the Wang Center. And and it's one of those giant theaters. The next night I asked him, that was and it was sold out. It was a Saturday night, and I asked him the next night. It's that place was big. There must have been 1,800, 2,000 people there. And they're like, Rob, there were 3,100 people there last night. And I'm I'm glad I didn't know that till now. It's it had one of those places that had balconies and loge sections that were so in the dark I couldn't even see where they were. But it was it was cool.
What a thrill.
Bigger crowd than I could have ever drawn in my life.
Yeah, a little bigger than Zany's downtown in Chicago that holds about 90 people.
Which is also good if they're listening. You know,
Sure.
I love Zany's downtown Chicago. I'm available this fall.
We'll see what we can do. Rob Parvonian is my guest. He's a very funny stand-up comedian, New York City based. You've seen him on Comedy Central, Dr. Demento, and he's opened up for George Carlin, which is pretty cool. We have another song that Rob shared with us called Baby in a Bar, about his neighborhood being taken over by family. His once cool and hip neighborhood now being taken over by babies and families. Here is that song now.
This song is dedicated to the Brooklyn that has evolved since I moved here, because I see lots of babies in bars now. I don't think there are any here tonight. I hope not. But I see a lot of babies in bars, and I used to get upset, but then I realized I can't get mad at the baby. It's not their fault that they're at the bar. And then I started to wonder, what's the baby thinking? So I wrote this song is from the baby's point of view. I'm a baby in a bar. Everything is so big. Daddy's drinking a beer. He won't give me a swig. This is a great place for me, with all this vodka and glass. Every surface is wet. I know that I'll bust my ass, but don't blame my dad. But don't blame my dad, he's not an alcoholic. We've been stuck in the house. I got the colic cause my tummy hurts, because my sphincters don't sphinx. I've been screaming for days and daddy needs him a drink. And I think the bartender's not happy with me, cause I don't know how to tip and I don't have ID. And all the guys here hate me cause I'm blocking their jocks by tripping all the ladies' biological clock. I'm a baby in a bar. I'm a baby in a bar. I'm a baby in a bar. This place used to be cool, but now while I'm sitting here in a puddle of drool, and I think I annoy the bartender tonight. When she shakes up a drink, I just shriek with delight, cause it's shiny and it makes funny noises. I'm getting dirty looks and I guess I deserve it, but maybe they're all jealous of my bottle service. But I think it's cause I'm ruining their sense of mystique. This neighborhood used to be edgy, now it's Sesame Street. But it's not my fault, so spare me the scorn. I didn't choose this place, I was dragged here in a Bjorn. So before you take it out on me, stop and think. You all are here to get laid, where do you think that would lead? To a baby in a bar. You guys sound amazing. Are you ready for an awesome show?
Oh, that's fun. Great stuff, Rob.
Thank you.
Just love it. Hey, this has been fun. Let's do it again when we don't have
Definitely.
this tech issue. We just got to have you back on more often. And since you're a musical guy, go
I'll
ahead.
come through Green Bay next time through.
Oh, come on, man. You got to come through here, Rob. We got great audiences
I want
here.
to. It's been too long. I haven't been to Wisconsin in a minute.
All right, let me see. I'll reach out to some people. I get no respect around here. People don't even like me, but I'm going to go to bat for you, buddy. I would love to have you here in the studio live. So let's see if we can make it happen. All right.
And I'm excited that you got the Godfather guy on. I love that movie. It was fun. Mike Siegel was in it.
Oh, yeah.
Lance Barber. Tell him I said hi, even though I never met him.
It was a fun cast. I will definitely do that. Rob number 2 is a great guy. So we're consistently talking about Robs tonight. So much appreciated, Rob. Have a great night. And let's talk soon, buddy.
Thanks for having me, man.
You
Take
got
care.
it. That's Rob Parvonian. Check out his work. Check out his special. Just go to the YouTube. That's what the kids call it, right? YouTube.
The YT?
The YT. Oh, excuse me. And this is like, I wanted Rob to hear this. I didn't see this. I'm a little out of sorts, but he said, is it Qui or Quai? I think we've had this conversation before.
That's a good question.
He says on the stream, oh, good. Dewey Wop Wop is stuck in my head now. Me too. Quai or Qui. Excuse us if we're not getting your name right, but that's a great text, and I'm with you. Conrad's mom checks in regard to our question tonight, which is, what is your favorite movie musical, Broadway musical, or TV musical? You could share all three if you like. Paula says, my favorite is musical Mary Poppins. Also liked The Greatest Showman this week at our neighborhood barbecue. I won first place in the cornhole tournament. That has nothing to do with the questions, but it is fantastic.
Maybe they were singing while they were doing it.
I hope so. That's fantastic. Thank you, Paula, and congrats. Dave on the stream says, La La Land. Great one. Great one, Dave. And then he also says, that's entertainment 1, 2, and 3. Wow, Dave is on it, man. Great old stuff. Agreed, Dave. Okay. Quai. Okay, Quai is fine. We got to remember that, Conrad.
Yes.
Thank you, Quai, for clarifying that. Much appreciated. My last name is Schwaba. I've been hearing lots of different stuff my entire life. So I totally get it. Ross from Crawford County, he's in the 608. He says, I'll show my age live, Cats, movie, Sound of Music, or West Side Story. Nothing wrong with that, Ross. We're all getting older every day. So glad you're texting and glad you're listening. Thank you, buddy. Tom from Monona says, The Commitments, yes. Or The Last Waltz, another great Martin Scorsese movie that is kind of forgotten about. Thank you, Tom. Steve from Florida, that's Conrad's dad, folks. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang is an awesome musical starring the almost 100-year-old Dick Van Dyke. That is true, Steve, and definitely worth a rewatch. Tyler from the 608, he's in Wisconsin Rapids, says Popeye with Robin Williams and Shelley Duvall was pretty good, I think. Therefore, I am what I am. Me thinks what me thinks? Or am I confusing that with Shakespeare? Thank you, Tyler. Annie from Watertown, who let us know our volume was down before, says, I think we've worked it out, though. But thank you, Annie, and sorry about the inconvenience. Ross from Crawford County says, Conrad, you're probably hearing from others. I don't need to read these texts. I just gave a blanket statement that I appreciated all the listeners telling us that we were not in great shape before. But we've got it all figured out thanks to the awesome talents. Was it Drew?
Yeah, Drew Smith.
Drew crushed it. Drew Smith was on it, folks, and now we've got radio. Joe from the 715 says, Les Mis for sure. Broadway show. Totally agree. Bridget from the 818 says, Hamilton. I love the music, the story, creative and innovative. Well said, Bridget. Tom from New Berlin says, I liked Pitch Perfect. All three of them, the voice was the original instrument. Very well said, Tom, and totally agree. Robert from La Crosse, his phone is in the 801. You know where that is, Conrad? Take a guess.
8-1.
And then go to the Google. But guess first.
I'm going to say South Carolina.
I'm going to say Southern Utah. And I don't know why.
Okay.
All right. Robert says, Cabaret, not the movie production. The musical explores themes of escapism, apathy, and the dangers of ignoring political unrest, using the cabaret as a metaphor for the situation in Germany, 1929 to 1930. And now for the situation unfolding in the USA. Okay. Thank you for the text, Robert. Much appreciated. Thanks for listening. Kate in the 715 says, Legally Blonde, Anything Goes, Waitress, Mean Girls, and Wicked. Great choices. Sydney from Oregon says, Fiddler on the Roof, but only that one song. You know the one. Yeah, anytime a show is that popular that you can say a text like, or put in a text like that and everybody knows what you're talking about means it's a monster musical. Keep those texts coming, folks. You can hear me now, and I want you to be on the radio, so let me know. Coming up next, actor, martial arts teacher, singer, Rob Martin is here in the studio. That's coming up next on Nightlight with Pete Schwaba on the Civic Media Radio Network.
I wanna cry, cry, cry when you feel
Here, you're listening to 97.9 WGBW.
We believe your stories matter because here at WGBW, your stories are our stories too. Our award-winning news team of Lisa Hale, Brittany Merlot, and Terry Barr cover the issues that affect your life every day, the stories that shape your world. You'll hear it on the air, read it online, and see it on social media, wherever you are. Real news, great conversation, 97.9 WGBW, connected to you and your community.
Are you over 50 and constantly feeling tired, bloated, or just a little off? Don't ignore it. Those could be signs that your liver is crying for help. As we age, our liver, which is essential for metabolism, digestion, immunity, and detoxification, needs extra support and protection. If neglected, it can leave you feeling sluggish and constantly off your game. That's where Active Liver from New Nordic comes in. Available in easy-to-take tablets or delicious gummies, Active Liver combines powerful natural ingredients like turmeric, milk thistle, and global clove artichoke extract to help support healthy liver function. With Active Liver, you're giving your body an essential daily defense against toxins from alcohol, fatty foods, and sweets, helping you reclaim your energy, improve digestion, lose the bloat, and strengthen your immunity so you can look and feel your best again. Protect your liver and give it the support that it deserves by making Active Liver from New Nordic part of your daily wellness routine. Find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS, Meijer Grocery, or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
Mino and the Mayor.
We go to a place and we actually reserved it already, but they got the Swan. You know what I mean?
I don't know. What is a swan? What do you mean?
Well, it's hard plastic.
Todd's got a smirk on his face. Here's a comment. Okay, so I've seen paddle boats. Right? Are you talking about one that's actually built like a swan?
Yeah.
I want a picture of that. That'll be my Facebook page. Mino and the Mayor, weekday mornings 6 till 9 on 97.9 WGBW and 98.3 and 96.5 WISS.
Snakes, zombies, public speaking. The list of fears is endless. But the real danger is in your hand when you're behind the wheel. Distracted driving is what's really scary and even deadly. Eyes forward, don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the
Technical glitches behind us. Drew Smith crushed it. We are banging on all cylinders. Another text on the stream, Kwai, who now we know how to pronounce his name. That's a big help, and I feel much better about this. Says Xanadu is my favorite movie musical, and he said he had a crush on Olivia Newton-John. Haha. Smart man. Who hasn't had a crush on
That's a smart man right there.
And that is the voice, ladies and gentlemen, of actor, martial arts entrepreneur. Singer, dad, Rob Martin. Welcome, Rob.
I can't help it. I look at this microphone and I think, I feel like I'm Harry Doyle.
Harry Doyle.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Just a bit outside.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Civic Media. Harry Doyle here. In case you haven't noticed it, Schwaba and Conrad are threatening to come out of the cellar.
Look, whoa. Hold on a second there. Pseudo you.
That was from the movie. I know.
Bob Uecker, unfortunately, never will probably be able to be on the Civic Media airwaves. It'll be a lot more difficult.
But
for
he
him
just
now.
was.
Yeah, he was. Exactly. All right, Rob. So I have to tell people how we met. All right, I made this movie. I talk about it from time to time on the show, but I try not to overdo it. But I met you. We were casting the role of a hitman in The Godfather of Green Bay.
Yes.
We auditioned two very fine actors. One was named Peter Balistreri.
Yep.
And one was named Rob Martin.
I was threatened by him in his leather coat, dude.
Listen, he's a really good actor. I don't know if he's still acting, but we thought he was spectacular. The problem was, it's not a problem, and it's nothing he did. He was just so convincing and scary. And Brian Edding, the producer, said to me, this is a comedy. Rob also looks scary.
Yeah.
But you were also somehow funny too, and that's why we went with you. And I'm so glad we did. You just crushed it.
Oh, well, I appreciate that very much. I mean, I didn't have a last name like Balistreri to.
No,
that's
not a pretty sweet last name.
I'm not making any comments about Italian.
No, I know. Listen. It's a great last. It's a phenomenal name.
Perfect.
But anyway, it's great to have you here. You drove up from Milwaukee so we could reunite here on the air. And that was such a fun experience for me getting to know you. And I want to go out of my way here to say what a home run we hit with, some actors we brought in, Tony Goldwyn, Lauren Holly, Tom Lennon, Lance Barber, I was living in LA at the time, but the actors we found in Milwaukee and Chicago, but we were 3 for 3. We had you, Eric Price, and Mark Borchardt.
Of the three you just mentioned, I have to say, Eric Price had to be one of the funniest people, comic relief people in that entire film.
Oh, yeah.
He was brilliant. The spag omelet thing has still got me laughing.
I wish I could take credit.
It was hysterical.
People will come up to me and say, that was so great. I go, yeah, it's Eric Price. He just ad-libbed that.
Have you ever been over there to Bart Starr's place? Yeah, they got a new thing called the spag omelet. It's
awesome. He was so funny. That part was written for a guy who was like 45 or 50. But Eric is just one of those guys. He was so funny in his audition. Was like, we got to use him. We have to rewrite the part a little bit. He was great. But You as well, playing Chuck Martinelli, aka Slugs. You're a retainer-wearing hitman, and
that was your idea. And I remember going to the dentist's office up there to get fitted for it.
Oh, no.
It was still hilarious. But there are two scenes in that movie, and I'll get to that. But the reason I think you saw the comic in me was there was two things going on at that audition. Number one, I had auditioned for the bartender. So I had a Southeastern, Wisconsin bartender, Pat.
That's pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I put a straw in my mouth, I got the towel over my shoulder. Hey, guys doing, and, that's a nice car you got there. Hey, that's a beaut. And, my agent said, she said, listen, I'm not supposed to give anybody lead time on this. She goes, but I want this for you. So please take these sides and go and learn them. So I did. And
for the hitman.
Yeah.
For Chuck, or for the bartender. Okay, gotcha.
So then I don't think I got chosen except for Donna, who chimed in and said, I want to try him out for the hitman.
Oh, yeah. Oh, this is all coming back to me.
So
now.
then
Yes.
I'm thinking to myself, I'm going up there to be a bartender, but now I'm trying to put a hitman together. Here, this, Midwestern suburban boy, naivete extraordinaire. So I'm like, what would a hitman do? And I brought a pack of cigarettes, having never smoked a day in my life, and was trying to light them during the audition. And I kept fumbling with the cigarettes. And then when I took a puff of it, like I knew I didn't have this gig, because I'm thinking to myself, there's no way that, I got to get this out of the way so the people can see me.
No, yeah, you're good.
There's no way I have this. So when I got the call back, I for sure, I thought Balistreri had it. 100% thought that he had it.
Yeah.
But she saw in me this thing, and I was like, okay, cool, let's do it.
That's fantastic. That happened a couple times, because I know Tom Lennon it was Lance. Who was? I think Lennon wanted another part, wanted Lance's part. No, Jeremy Piven. I'm sorry. We were out to him as the DUG character, which went to Tom Lennon. Piven said, I like the Kenny character, but we had already cast Lance, and he wasn't as well known as Jeremy Piven at the time, but we just thought Lance was great too. And you get married to these cast members, and it's like you can't get them out of your head.
What a cast.
Yeah,
Lance Barber goes on to do young Sheldon as the father. Like, when I saw a clip of that just happened, I wasn't a follower of that whole series. So when young Sheldon clip came across on YouTube and I saw that it was Lance, I was like, oh my God,
he's amazing in it.
Kids, come here. Yeah. I was to work with that guy.
You stared down, for a guy who hadn't really done too much acting at the time. You had scenes with Tony Goldwyn, who is one of the most respected actors there is,
Hollywood
still
royalty.
To this day. Yeah, and Hollywood royalty with the MGM connection. But you were not intimidated at all. And you looked at him, and I think you looked up at him because you're a tall guy. He might have an inch or two on you, and you said, listen to me, you mutt. And it was beautiful. It was just great. I couldn't believe how you hit it out of the park. All right. Rob Martin is here. I'll have more with Rob, and we're going to talk about a really cool thing Rob overcame in his life, and we're going to talk about movie gangsters because he played one. We'll do that all after the news. This is Pete Schwaba and Nightlight on the Civic Media Radio Network.
You're listening to the Talk of Green Bay, WGBW, home for Matinee on Air.
Local radio for you and your community. It's Civic Media's mission with stations across Wisconsin. Find your favorites at civicmedia.us.
ABC News, I'm Dave Packer. An urgent search for a former police chief known as the Devil of the Ozarks who escaped from a high-security prison in rural Arkansas. The 56-year-old fugitive has a professional background that officials fear could make him difficult to catch. A desperate scene in Gaza. Thousands of starving men, women, and children scrambling for food at a humanitarian aid distribution center. The aid station overrun. Thousands rushing in every direction. The Israeli Defense Force is saying its troops fired warning shots into the air. A mass shooting at a Waterbury, Connecticut mall. 5 people shot at the Brass Mill Center this afternoon. Waterbury Police Chief Fernando Spagnolo.
There are several victims suffering from gunshot wounds. They were all transported to local hospitals. Currently, they're being worked on and receiving medical treatment, and there are no fatalities at this time.
Police looking for the suspect. They say they have strong leads. SpaceX has scheduled the 9th test flight of its Starship Heavy rocket for this hour. This is ABC News.
The Brewers host the Red Sox. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with Sports Baseball. Game 2 of the 3-game series tonight at AmFam Field between the Brewers and the Boston Red Sox. Jackson Churio got things started early yesterday for the Crew. First pitch in the bottom of the first. FanDuel, Wisconsin.
Swing and a drive. Deep left center. Welcome to Memorial Day.
The Brewers went on to win 3-2. Did Churio's leadoff homer set the tone? Pat Murphy.
Yeah, I think it did. I think it always sets a tone when you come out ready, and the first hitter that you have kind of makes a statement.
Closer Trevor McGill got out of a jam in the 9th to get the save in front of a sellout crowd of over 40,000 fans. Did that help?
Oh yeah, I mean this stadium gets rocking when there's a bunch of people in it, and definitely felt that. So I mean I thoroughly enjoyed pitching here in Milwaukee, and thank you for the fans for coming out.
That's Brewers pitcher Trevor McGill with Sports. I'm Mike Clemens.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. Here's one of Pete's picks. If you're looking for a good police procedural, check out Line of Duty. Season 1 starts with a police sergeant who refuses to be part of a cover-up and joins an anti-corruption police task force. Just started watching it, but I am digging it due to good writing and really solid British acting, including actors Lenny James, Kelly MacDonald, Martin Compston, and Stephen Graham. The BBC show is available to stream on several different platforms, including Hulu, Prime, and Peacock. The Cannes Film Festival gets the best of the best films every year, so it's no surprise that many films have received serious buzz post-festival. According to the Daily Beast, the best film to come out of this year's event is the comedy drama Sentimental Value. The film stars the great Stellan Skarsgård and Elle Fanning and is being called a story about family memories and the healing powers of art. Sentimental Value is directed by Norwegian filmmaker Joachim Trier, and it's one to keep an eye on. For more showbiz fun, tune into Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Your news, conversations, and a whole lot of fun. It's all on your local Civic Media radio station or the Civic Media app.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. An isolated shower or two tonight with a mostly cloudy sky and a low in the low 50s. Better chance of showers and even a few thunderstorms tomorrow, high mid-60s. It dries out for the end of the week and the upcoming weekend as temps climb through the 70s. Currently, it's 66.
Yo, I'm your old basketball. Haven't seen you out on the courts in a while. Why not pass me over to Goodwill? Donating me helps Goodwill's mission to provide career training and support services right here in the community. And that's a slam dunk. Donate today. Hey, I got next.
To find your nearest Goodwill locations and to learn more about our mission, please visit goodwill.org. Goodwill, where your things start new lives.
The Maggie Dawn Show.
Richard Trent, the executive director of Main Street Alliance.
This current tax code that they're trying to extend, 80+% of the benefit goes to the top 1% of earners.
Yes.
To not misspeak there. This is not a game. Trump will tell you firsthand that he grew up believing there are winners and there are losers. This is an administration actively trying to create a class of losers, and we have to fight back.
The Maggie Dawn Show. Weekday afternoons, 4 until 6 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the app. Pete Schwaba.
On the next Nightlight, I welcome back comedian singer Rob Paravonian and
Every time I think of you, I feel a shot right through the bolt of blue. It's no problem of mine, but it's a problem I find. Living a life that I can't leave behind.
You got Nightlight with Pete Schwaba, folks. We are on the Civic Media Radio Network, broadcasting live from beautiful downtown Green Bay. Was this a beautiful enough downtown for you to get in your car in your posh suburb of Milwaukee, Rob, and drive?
You
up
don't
to
want
be
the
on
answer to that. Because the answer is I came here wholly and specifically to spend 40 minutes with you. Because 20 years after we shot a movie, the only movie that by the way, can I say the word? Can I say ass on the radio?
Yeah, well, you just did, but yeah, go for it.
I kicked Tony Goldwyn's ass.
You did?
And he just came to us.
Movie fight, yeah.
Off of Last Samurai.
Yeah.
He flew in
And Ghost, where he was like a killer.
Yeah.
So yeah, you
I beat the
he was he learned the hard way what it's like here in Wisconsin if you cross the wrong guy.
I came here for you.
So let me ask you that. You, like I just said, you got the part. You did such a good job in the movie. Did you try to pursue acting then, or were you kind of like, this was an experience? Because there are people like you that do that, and then they just don't. They're like, yeah, that was fun, but I teach martial arts, or I teach singing, or whatever. I know you had a band at the time. Like,
so there's a much longer answer, but the answer is a lot. The true answer is a lot deeper, and it was given to me by a guy who was helping me, of all people, build out my basement last summer. And he said, because the way it ended was really hurtful, very, very messy.
What was messy?
So the end of the band that I was in was very messy.
Yacht rock band that you founded.
Yeah. So we were going through a lot at that time. And he said, and this is how it comes into what you're asking me. He said, your dream is not what you think it is. He said, your dream is the one thing that you'll sacrifice everything else for. He goes, so what will you sacrifice everything for? And the answer was instantaneous. My family.
Sure.
No, nothing trumps that. And so when it came to at the end of the movie, I mean, I told you that story briefly of Donna Bauer, who was the casting agent, just a nice lady. She had said to me, I need you out in Los Angeles because you're going to work.
Yeah.
And so here I am staring that fork in the road with, like I said, high definition, 4K. Either I go to Los Angeles and pursue the dream of being a full-time actor with, freedom, because I didn't have kids at the time. So
and you got a good credit in your back
great
pocket.
credit.
Oh, yeah.
Tons in my reel because I did a couple national ads. And
oh, sweet.
So I had the opportunity. And then I had this woman that I absolutely adored as the other side. And I told you the story in the parking lot of a Taco Bell in Marinette.
I know that Taco Bell way too well.
Talking to my closest friend in the world, Jason Thrun. And I said, I don't know what to do. I had tears in my eyes. And he's like, dude, all I can say is, I don't want to be in your shoes right now. And I chose Jack. Absolutely. And I would.
Now you have 3 kids. Like, that's the beautiful thing. You make a decision.
Yep.
When kids are involved and you got a happy marriage, you're not going to ever regret that.
Never.
And frankly, a lot of people are told, oh, move to LA. And they do. And, maybe they have some success, maybe they don't, but you're never going to regret that decision.
Yeah, the interesting thing is, I think it depends on what people move out there for. Because if you have a Harrison Ford or a Diane Keaton who moves specifically, their passion is acting, right? So Robin Williams, another good example, who goes to school for it, and that's what he wants to do with his life. That person, it doesn't matter if they become huge stars. But then there are those people that go out there because they want the fame and the fortune and the rock star status. I'm still impressed by, I don't like his religious views, but I'm still amazed by Tom Cruise and what he's willing to put himself through when he's committed to a part.
He's the consummate, whatever you think of him.
Unbelievable.
I thought he was weird, and he won me back over. Now I'm like, he's maybe the greatest movie star that's ever lived. So,
and if he hasn't earned that by now, he never will.
Exactly. So let's talk about, you had we were talking about your singing career. You founded a band called the Docksiders.
I was a co-founder,
Co-founder with Kevin, and you had a head injury.
Yep.
That kind of derailed that a little bit. I mean, you could have
completely.
Done it. Yeah, completely. Tell us about, I remember reading that, Rob, when you posted something, or your wife posted something, or maybe Kevin did on Facebook, about this injury you had while you were roller skating, correct?
Yeah. So
it was a visceral reaction. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. People wear your helmets.
Yeah.
So we went skating as a family in the dead of winter, February, on February 27th and 22. And I don't really, we were there for probably an hour before the incident happened. And then I don't remember anything for 3 days after that. And I was in the hospital, suffered 3 brain bleeds, 5 fractures of my skull. I had a subdural, which was the scariest one, I guess. And when I came out of it, I couldn't speak. So I had speech aphasia, where, I'd mix my words up. And the singing thing, they did a lot of research to try and figure out what the holy grail was for me. So was it multiple friendships? Was it The singing career was at the artistic background, and they couldn't pinpoint it. The only thing I can say is that because Jackie was an ER nurse at one time, she didn't have the typical, and I don't mean this in a negative way, the typical loved one response where it's, oh my God. And then they run over to you and are you okay? Her thing was mechanical. It switched on. Call the ambulance right now. Don't move them. Ran over to me, made sure that they put me on when they weren't properly putting me on the gurney, she corrected them, got me to Frederick Hospital, and Frederick saved my life.
Well done, Jackie.
Right?
I mean, and how do you feel? Like you just made a joke where, not a joke, but wear your helmets. When I'm at a skating rink, and it's been a while, but I took my kids a few times to a skating rink. I cannot believe with how hard those floors are. And sometimes you're going 30 miles an hour with no helmet. Why wouldn't you wear a helmet? Why doesn't the skating rink make you wear a helmet?
I don't think they've gotten there yet, but it probably will happen. I met the people, actually this last February was my first time back. And we went back there, and oddly enough, my son broke his wrist that day. So we probably won't go back.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
But I met the people that were there that day, and I've had a fabulous reconnection with them, and their recounting of how it happened and stuff. So it was very cathartic to go back.
So you had, you decided you chose love over the movie business, which probably would have just frustrated the hell out of you at some point, like it does all of us.
Probably.
And then you had this great, the Docksiders, this great yacht rock band, kind of out in front of the curve a little bit, right? With yacht rock. Like I hadn't even heard of it until I talked to you.
Yeah. So there was another band that was doing it out of LA, who really moved the bar. We weren't motivated by them. What happened was Kevin had invited me to go with him to see Toto at the Shell in Oshkosh. I think it's like right on the river. And we met Paige and Lukather on the walk, and he chatted with them, and we were driving home, and he put on XM radio. So this was 17. And he had this yacht rock radio on XM. And the first song I heard was Dance With Me. And I was like, oh my God, I haven't heard this for 30 plus years. What? And I was hooked. And he said, I kind of want to start a band. I'm like, I'm in. Let's do this. Let's absolutely do it. And, I gave a caveat where I said, I'm only doing this because he and I had a history together. Very up and down kind of friendship. And I'm absolutely a part of that. I would never say it was one person or another.
Sure.
But I said, as long as we're doing this for fun, I'm in. I don't need a business. I just want to sing with you and his wife, Erin, and sing with you and Erin again. That's all I want out of this. And then because we had such a huge response, it escalated very, very quickly. And then we were touring the country, singing Ram's Head on stage, and singing in Annapolis, Maryland, and singing in Kansas, and singing in Nebraska, and doing these, huge venues. So it escalated quickly. And then the last show was right before the head injury, was at the Pabst Theater, and Tony Orlando had come up to sit in with us. And the guy's consummate pro,
the legend. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was very, very cool.
Very cool. Rob Martin is my guest. He played Chuck Martinelli, also known as Slugs, in The Godfather of Green Bay. If you've seen his work, he had he did some really phenomenal stuff with Tony Goldwyn. And
I got to hug Lauren Holly.
Yeah.
Hello.
How about that? You're doing okay. I had to do it on screen without a shirt on. That was a little.
How do you do that? That's a good question. We should get back to that one, because how do you pull that one off?
I've had many people ask me that. You just have a couple cocktails and you go for
there
it,
you
know. My favorite scene you had was with Gary Bichetto, where he was like your captain or capo or whatever, and you're at the bar.
Oh, so funny.
And you sit down and you start to talk, and you got the retainer in your mouth, and Gary goes, "Take it out." And then you take the retainer out.
He was so good.
He was great.
I couldn't stop laughing because you and Brian were saying, Rob, we can't do this all day. We got to get this shot.
You got a schedule here.
But it was cracking me up every time I pulled it out. And then you said, Rob, see if you can.
Oh, yeah.
See
extra
if you can
saliva.
Get some spit on it. Yeah. So I put some spit on it. I was like this.
It was brilliant. So let's talk. You played a gangster in a movie. Do you have like when you? I know this was just like this indie film, $500,000 indie film or whatever. But did you have someone you were trying?
Chili Palmer.
Oh, from Get Shorty.
From Get Shorty.
Who played Chili Palmer again?
Come on, John Travolta.
Oh, he was the main character.
Yeah,
I saw that movie once, and I remember really liking it. And then I tried to watch it about 15 years later, and I just kind of wasn't as into it. But I should know that. Still.
If you watch my scenes now with Chili Palmer in mind, you'll see that I was trying to. I never saw myself as a Don Corleone or they're
not funny.
No, analyze this. De Niro did a great job with what was his name in that movie?
Harold Ramis.
No.
Oh, Billy Crystal. Harold Ramis.
Yeah, he did Billy Crystal.
Yeah.
But what was what is his gangster name in the movie? I can't remember. Vito.
Okay.
Mr. Vito. And he was hilarious, but Chili Palmer was I
think my favorite, I've got a few of them and I think I accidentally threw my list out, but Dennis Farina in Midnight Run.
Okay.
Foxy Brown, Pam Grier. Love her for many reasons.
I'm remiss. I should watch that movie. I've never watched it.
Yeah, it's good. Tommy from Goodfellas. Love Joe Pesci.
Okay.
And there's a few more. I can't believe I threw my list was written on my questions.
Don't you ever go over my head again, you.
Yeah, you got it. But I do love Don Corleone. I mean, he's not funny, but he's just amazing. And Michael Corleone.
He's the only one that I think still had a heart in of any of the gangsters. That's why I liked Chili Palmer too, is because he was cool. He wasn't. Like revenge was his thing if it was necessary.
Yeah.
But Michael was, you know what? I'm going to skip the middleman. I'm just going to kill everybody.
Right. Exactly. He like the most decent guy turned into the biggest devil, yes. Conrad just texted me. He remembers on my list was Albert Finney in Miller's Crossing. You ever seen Miller's Crossing?
Never seen that either.
Oh my God. The Danny Boy scene, college papers have been written on. It's Albert Finney laying in bed, smoking a cigar, big Irish gangster. He's about to fall and go down. And people are coming after. They enter his home, and he puts a cigar down, and he picks up a Tommy gun, puts his feet in his slippers. And I'll give you the exciting conclusion right after this. We'll have a few more minutes with Rob Martin when we come back. It's Pete Schwaba and Nightlight on the Civic Media Radio Network.
We got to live together. I am no better, and neither are you. We are the same, whatever we do.
Local news, weather, and sports on air and streaming on the Civic Media app. This is the Civic Media Radio Network.
Feeling better is about feeling all kinds of things. You want to feel healthy, sure, but you also want to feel heard and understood, valued, even, loved. That's what we want too. We're Amplify Health, and we think the best way to care for someone is to care about them. That's why all our treatments include a little empathy. Welcome to healthcare that's all about caring. Welcome to Amplify Health by Bellin. A little empathy changes everything.
I'm Dan Schaefer. Let's recombobulate. We are in a rare moment right now in Wisconsin politics. Why, you ask? Well, it's because we are not actively in the middle of a campaign cycle. It's been more than 6 weeks now since any of us have seen a campaign ad. It's been pretty nice, hasn't it? The moment we're in is as close as we're going to get to a political off-season here in Wisconsin. And we need to take advantage of this moment by taking action to improve our democracy. That means taking steps to address money in politics, cleaning up some issues with election administration, and creating a long-term plan for nonpartisan redistricting. In some cases, we can't make these kinds of changes in the middle of a campaign. So we need to be thinking about what we can do now. There's a lot both parties can agree on here, too. So let's make some moves this offseason, Wisconsin. Seize this moment to make a better, stronger, more inclusive democracy.
Find all of Dan's work at the Recombobulation area and on our website at civicmedia.us.
When we got our home appraised, we felt robbed. Compared to a similar home right around the corner, our appraisal was $80,000 less.
Latino and Black homeowners are about twice as likely as white homeowners to get low appraisals. If you believe your home has been unfairly appraised because of race or national origin, contact HUD at hud.gov/fair housing. That's hud.gov/fair housing. Everyone has a right to fair housing. A public service message from HUD in partnership with the National Fair Housing Alliance.
Matt Nair on air.
The Joint Finance Committee just had 4 meetings around the state of Wisconsin. The top 3 things of concern to people were education, healthcare, and childcare. The Republicans stripped all of those things out of Governor Evers' budget. So I'm thinking about going next time just to make sure that they all put their phones down when I'm talking to them, because I have a feeling they're all playing Candy Crush because they're not paying attention to what people are saying.
Catch Matt Nair on air at its new time, weekday mornings 9 to 11 on Civic Media and the Civic Media app.
We are the National Park Foundation, and together with you, we're creating a future where every person, every generation gets their chance at an unforgettable moment. Learn more at nationalparks.org/foundation.
You are never far away from your favorite radio station. We're always streaming on TuneIn and the Civic Media app. And if you missed your favorite show or game, listen to a podcast of it anytime on the app or our website, civicmedia.us.
Welcome back. This is Nightlight with Pete Schwaba. I am Pete Schwaba, and it is great to have you here on this Tuesday, post-Memorial Day Tuesday. Our question of the night, what is your favorite Broadway movie or TV musical? And we have a text from Steady Eddie we have to get to. Kurt Krause. I was just about to mention Kurt Krause's name because he sent me a really cool photo with of him and Rob. But Steady Eddie says, Pete, when the double record album, Jesus Christ Superstar, first came out, I was in high school. I bought it, loved it, and literally wore out the vinyl set. So I bought another one. But my favorite musical is The Wizard of Oz. I sometimes out of the blue find myself singing the song Somewhere Over the Rainbow and thinking about Judy Garland. Another line from the song in The Wizard of Oz, sung by the Scarecrow, that I often sing to myself after I make some stupid mistake is, with the thoughts I'd be thinking, I could be another Lincoln if I only had a brain. Pete, feel free to use this version of this lyric next time you hit a goofy golf shot on the green or into the windmill, in my case. That putt I should have been sinking if I only golf like Lincoln. Damn it, if I only had a brain. Pete, did you know old Abe was an excellent golfer? I did not know that, Steady Eddie. I had no idea. Thank you for the text, pal. And Chris from the 715, Chris Alfheim, here in Appleton, or in Appleton, says, liked, did they effectively answer your question? Oh, sorry. That's not... You just got to take that stuff off. I always start to read it and then I catch myself.
Now I want to know what it says.
Well, it's something with Marinette, but we'll get into that.
Okay.
Thanks, Chris. Chris is texting the show inadvertently. Conrad, she probably doesn't even know she was texting us.
No, I'm not sure.
And then Kurt Krause, Rob, sent me a picture of the two of you guys. And I've been posting a lot of stuff on the stream lately, but it's not. The picture of you and Kurt is great. Then he's got some other pictures of people I don't even remember, like backstage. But one of them is you teaching the Macarena on the set of The Godfather of Green Bay.
Yes.
How fun was that? And my own fault for putting that song in the movie, so it's in people's heads forever if they watch it. But that must have been fun for you.
Smartest move you ever made. Now the movie's stuck in people's brains.
I hope not.
Was it your sister that was really mad at me, though, right?
Julie, man, why? Why was she mad at you?
Because I either took over because it was I was watching and it wasn't being taught correctly, and I think she had it. But how am I going to turn down? What were those girls? The
Hooters
Hawaiian
waitresses.
they were Hooters, or were they Hawaiian Tropics?
Well, I was told they were Hooters waitresses, but I don't remember a lot of the stuff because I had other stuff on my plate, so I don't know where they found them. I thought Hooters.
I just remember teaching Tony Goldwyn how to do the Macarena in your garage.
How fun was that?
How tired must he have been that night? Just landed from freaking Japan.
Yeah, no kidding. That was fun. You did a good job, dude. The Macarena, and the guy we hired to mimic it, we paid $5,000, I think. He was great. He did a great job. Because that's what you have to do to license a song. You can get, I think we paid him, then we paid for like a festival license or something. But yeah, that song is forever in people's heads. But it was a great song. Admit it.
It was a great song, Pete.
Thank you. Did you see Mission Impossible?
The new one, no.
Okay.
No.
What kind of movies do you like to watch, Rob? As a dad and as an artiste, what is your taste in movies?
Pete, you're talking about a guy who refuses to go to streaming and buys everything on 4K and Blu-ray.
But still,
I
love that. I know some people like that.
I love movies.
Yeah.
So the remodel that I just did on the basement, first of all, I've never built, I shouldn't say never, but building out a whole basement, framing it all out, and saving us the money that we saved by not hiring contractors to do it, and the elaborate stuff that I like forced myself to try and learn.
Yeah.
I told Jackie, I said, listen, my payment for doing this is that area right over there is going to be my theater.
Oh, wow. Nice.
And so I did tons and tons hours of watching prices and looking on eBay for stuff that was so far out of my price range that my only hope was to find something that was used. Right. And I lucked out. So it's awesome. So I just watched for the first time in that theater on 4K the new Top Gun, the Maverick.
Oh, sweet. Oh, that's a great one. Watching on a screen like that.
It was awesome.
Yeah. Oh, you're going to love this new Mission Impossible then.
So I guess favorite movies, I don't have one. If I had my top 3 all-time favorite movies, Blazing Saddles would be in there.
Nice.
Because of the connection to my dad, probably Smokey and the Bandit, even though it's not the best movie in the world.
But comfort movie, a comfort movie.
Absolutely.
Yeah, sure, I get
that. I'm not a huge gangster guy, but I did absolutely love The Godfather 1 and 2. Not a big fan of 3. And
likewise.
Gosh, there's so many. I can't. Caddyshack for obvious reasons. Holy Grail.
Do your kids like to watch movies with you?
My kids are of the generation where it's 7 seconds. You know?
Yeah. Say my wife, my daughter too was like that. She always says, I hate movies. Every time we make her watch a movie, she loves it. She loves everything she sees. I'm like, you should watch more movies with us. Do we have a text for Rob, Conrad?
No, I'm just saying we got one last text.
Oh, Jim from Appleton says, my favorite is Into the Woods. Great songs. Thank you. Thank you, Jim. And I got to give you a shout out. Mike Desatel, a fan of the show and a guy who's contributed to the show. That was one of the best memories of his life was you teaching him the Macarena. And he remembered that. And we'll have to see if we can scrounge up a picture or something.
Absolutely.
But that's great stuff. Rob, this was fun. Thank you.
It's over.
Thank you for driving here. Well, we can sit and chit chat for a few minutes.
Okay.
The on air part of it is over. We'll do like an after. What do they call that with Conrad's giving me the we're number 1 sign.
Yep.
Hey, this is a rough night, buddy.
97.9 FM WGBW.
How about we do this? How about we go out with a little of more uke? Can you do more uke and take us to the break?
Yeah, try.
All right, Rob Martin, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on. I'd like to thank all my guests. Rob Martin, Rob Parvonian, and tomorrow night, folks, on the show, we got another great one. Milwaukee's own the film critic Matt Miller will be here. We'll be breaking down the weekend box office, which crushed. And Dennis Graham from Rockhanson. That's tomorrow night on Night Light on behalf of the lovable producer Conrad and my pal Rob Martin, who is going to do Bob Euchre.
Hey, thanks for listening, ladies and gentlemen, here at Civic Media, 97.9 FM WGBW. Keep your eyes open for Schwaba and Conrad in the evenings.
Good night, Wisconsin.